Listen to the music, relax, and have fun.
Hi, this is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Madonna.
Hi, we're the Sugar Babes.
Hey, I'm Mariah Carey.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams.
Hi, this is Paul McCartney.
Hey, this is Kylie.
Hi, this is Simon Cowell.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
Hi, we're gonna take that.
You're in the mix with
LDM Radio.
Standing by for transmission.
the best radio station in the world. Is right here, right now.
LDM Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to LDM Radio Sports Talk, the sports show that talks about current events in the sports world and other topics relatable to sports fans. My name is Alfonso Caldero, and joining me this week is Wesley Segundo,
A.K.A. Whipper Man.
and we will get right to it. So we're going to start with the NHL. Their playoffs are closing. Their first round series are starting to close. We have a couple of series that are finished already. Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1.
And the Capitals are trying to hang on to the cling of life against the New York Islanders, the A.K.A. Fish Sticks.
Yes, they are. The game is tonight, and the Islanders are looking to close out the series, and the Washington Capitals are looking to stave off elimination, down 3-1.
Yep.
So that is the local action.
And the Philadelphia Flyers are up 3-2 over the Le Montreal Canadiens.
Yes, and their game 6 will be tomorrow. So Tampa Bay and the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins have advanced to the conference semifinals,
While the Avalanche and the Golden Knights are actually advanced.
Yes, they are. They both all Tampa Bay, the Boston Bruins, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Vegas Golden Knights all won their series 4-1.
So right now they're in their COVID bubble rooms playing ping pong, waiting to see who's their next opponent in the second round of the playoffs?
Yeah, I would like to know if there's like a ping pong champion after all of this.
There probably is. Maybe
have
beer pong, who knows?
Definitely have a tournament
Just,
on that.
Michelob Light does not count.
And then give ESPN the rights to it. Give them something to watch.
Yeah. Ask for like a profit. No!
So
yeah.
then the Dallas Stars are up 3-2 against the Calgary Flames. That game is also tonight.
Ooh, we got a lot of action tonight.
And then what, in my opinion, is the best series still going on. The Vancouver Canucks are up 3-2 on the defending champion St. Louis Blues.
Now, so they're defending that contaminated cup, huh?
You know, well, what do you mean?
Well, it's the COVID cup now.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in past weeks. I think that this is going to be like a harder cup to win than most years. I don't think it's really tainted at all. Some people believe it is.
I mean, it's tainted with germs. I mean, back then it was. I mean, with the amount of stuff that past Stanley Cup winners did with that cup, I even told you plenty of times not to kiss that cup.
Yeah, it's actually I have before, which is fun. I think it was a replica, but it was still awesome.
I told him not to.
Well, it totally went to second base on that one.
Yeah, we won't get on such details of what I said, what has happened with that cup.
But it actually raises an interesting topic on how the celebration is going to go. Because, like classically when a team wins the Stanley Cup, they pass it around, they all touch
Eat
it, they
cereal
all kiss
off
it.
of it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So that is going to be a fun series. So to recap, tonight we have the New York Islanders versus the Washington Capitals. Well, the Capitals are trying to stave off elimination.
Hang on to the lifeline that they have left.
And Dallas Stars versus Calgary Flames game 6 tonight. And tomorrow is the Vancouver Canucks versus the St. Louis Blues. And the Flyers versus the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens, the 12th seed in the playoffs coming in for the East, and they're pushing the Flyers. There wasn't a clean sweep.
No, it's not. I mean, the Flyers coming in strong now. All of a sudden with Alain Vigneault, I mean, he's not a bad coach, but it's like his first year there. You're going to expect success. And I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, like, recent trends that has with his like previous teams?
Yep.
Could it be the year that he finally makes the Stanley Cup final and actually wins it all? Because he was very close with Vancouver. I mean, he did make the finals with the New York Rangers, but it wasn't that close.
Right. A lot of people have the Philadelphia Flyers winning the Stanley Cup, which was the biggest joke because people were saying before that this tournament came out that this would be the year that the Flyers actually have a decent team to win the Stanley Cup and then not be able to play. But, like now the situation is presenting itself. They are going in, and they did shut out the Canadiens 2 games in a row. But they're not exactly flooring them. No. Now, the Colorado Avalanche, absolutely polly-whipped the Arizona
You
Coyotes.
mean mollywop?
Mollywop, yeah. Well, mollywop.
Yeah.
So,
Poly whipped.
I mean, the
whipped them
games,
with polio mozzarella cheese sticks.
they were scoring 6 goals, 7 goals a game. They just absolutely dominated that series aside from the one game they lost.
You're telling me nobody was pissed off and told them to take the foot off the gas?
Nope.
I mean,
nope.
Am I going too early with this?
I know, right? Is there? I don't think they had to apologize to the Arizona Coyotes, thankfully, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So the New York Rangers are still the only team that has been swept in the playoffs in the first round. Everybody's looking forward to October 9th when the NHL draft is happening.
And I think they gained. I think it's a top 24 protected pick out of. Well, because since the Carolina Hurricanes lost and the Bruins advanced, the Rangers got a conditional pick out of it, so they got 2 first-round picks.
Yes, they did. They got that trade. They got that pick from the Brady Shea trade, and the New York Rangers will have 2 selections in the first round. We're looking at, this is probably going to fall, in the late teens, early 20s, depending on what's going on.
A pick is a pick. A pick is a pick.
Yep. They are set up for the future. Now, did you hear the rumors that the Ottawa Senators are throwing the...
Guess what? That's a BS rumor. Holds no weight, has no source, and that's just fans speculating a lot of things.
All right, so
happens a lot on Facebook, happens on Twitter. If it ain't Bob McKenzie or any NHL insider, like most of the guys from TSN or like Pierre LeBrun or what's the guy's name? Barry Melrose?
Yep.
Holds no weight.
Well, just to let the fans at home know, we have... The situation is the Ottawa Senators hold the number 3 and number 5 picks overall, and there's some ramblings on the internet saying that the Rangers are entertaining obtaining those 2 picks and a throw-in of Brady Tkachuk, which was the number 4 pick of the draft 2 years ago.
It holds no weight. I'm telling you, it holds no weight.
So what is your opinion on trading the first-round pick? Would you ever do it? What kind of package do you think it would take?
Well, if it's a guy for who could be the second best thing since Connor McDavid,
right.
You don't trade it. You don't trade that pick.
That's a possibility.
Look, this is the first time in 55 years that we get legitimately the first pick.
Yep.
Why would you want to trade that away?
Yeah.
That's stupid right there. And for a guy like Alexis Lafreniere, why? You want to keep that pick. That's a guy you can really turn your franchise around with.
Well, I mean, there's always the buzz factor, which is always a possibility, or even a player could be immensely talented.
I recommend you look at his stats. This is not no Alexandre Diego, whatever dangle balls is what you call him.
Right.
He's not that.
But
this kid is legitimately the real deal.
Right, but there's also the unforeseen where injuries could pile up on people, which make them a draft bust. Even though
people talk about injuries way too quick, as you want it to happen. Here, I'm gonna put some voodoo on you. Drink this. Here's some injuries. Here's some injuries. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Injury. Here's an injury. Here's an injury. You get an injury. You get an injury. You turn into a bust. Come on now.
It happens. It's a part of the game.
Come on now. Let's not be thinking like that now.
Hopefully the Rangers.
Connor McDavid had a bad injury, and he's still like a machine.
It's true. Broke his collarbone. against the Philadelphia Flyers.
Not only the collarbone, but on his leg as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Watch that documentary.
So we will move on to the NBA. Now, the NBA is just starting their first round playoff series. So a lot of games are either have one game or two games played, and there's games going on as we speak right now. So the Lakers, the number one seeded Lakers, are facing off against the number 8 Blazers. In this situation, we talked on past shows where there was a tight race going into the for the 8th seed in the Bubble Classic, I guess, maybe Bubble Classic regular season, maybe. And the Phoenix Suns ended up going 8-0 in bubble play, but did not advance. They could not take over the Portland Trailblazers that went 5-2 to secure the 8th spot.
Speaking of bubble, there's like this hot rumor going on. This Instagram model saying that she was able to access the bubble and put her own head in between two players' legs, and that's why they're playing well. And I think it's for the Phoenix Suns.
Huh.
I was seeing it like all over Twitter, and yes, some very promiscuous activity that's apparently going on behind these highly secure bubbles.
Well, there was two things. There were two concerns that the NBA had, like, off the record kind of just ramblings. Two things that were going to be the biggest issues was going to be players not being able to have sexual relations and the food. Apparently, they did not like the food selections in the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex.
There has been some apparent sexual relations going on, according to this Instagram model.
Well, I'd say, like, people are human. They're going to do what they do. The thing is that...
Hey, it's human nature, but...
if any of them actually get COVID-19 and then they end up causing a bigger issue, that's going to be a problem because then they're going to get the spotlight directly on them.
Oh, and it's not going to be a good look.
No, not at all. But we'll get back to the game action. So...
get back to the game action.
Yeah, in both series, there's only been one game played between the number 1 and the number 8 seeds in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and in both cases, the number 8 seed has won so far.
Does it look like that Damian Lillard is Damian Lillard or Damian Lillard?
Yeah,
is he gonna get over that apparent hump that he can't just get past the friggin' round?
Well, we'll see. I mean, they earned the 8th seed and they're playing the Lakers, and they were the seemingly the most dangerous team aside from the Suns running the table.
He's going off right now with Carmelo Anthony, I heard.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
I haven't been watching much basketball, and I think today is the lottery selection too.
Yes, it is. We'll get to that in a little bit. We have the Portland's up 1 game to 0 on the Lakers, and they're playing
Laker
tonight.
Fans are freaking out.
Yeah, probably. Then the number 2 Clippers are facing off against the number 7 Dallas Mavericks, and that series is tied 1-1.
Wow.
The Denver Nuggets are the number 3 seed, which I looked back and I was like, wow, the Denver Nuggets were number 3 seed?
It's word.
How'd that happen?
Since when they were like that much powerful to be like a top 3 team.
Yeah, totally. So the Denver Nuggets are facing off against the number 6 Utah Jazz, and that series is tied at 1. And in a game going on right now as we speak, the number 4 seeded Houston Rockets are up 1 game to 0 on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow.
That is the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference, as we spoke about, the number 1 Bucks lost their first game to the number 8 Orlando Magic, which, in the NBA doesn't actually happen too often. Usually the top seeds just wipe the floor with the lower seeds, and then everybody else is battling for the 4th and 5th seeds series is usually pretty even, maybe the 3-6, but this is it's going to go at least 5 games. We'll see how it goes. I mean, this is the Orlando Magic are a team that finished under 500 for the regular season, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Wow, the Orlando Magic back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that since, like, what, Tracy McGrady?
Yeah. It's been a while. I mean, how long is it? Since when have the Bucks been number?
I mean, good drafting takes you places, so there's that. Good drafting, good trades.
So, and the number 2 seeded Raptors are playing the number 7 Brooklyn Nets, and Toronto is up 2-0.
The defending champions.
Yeah, that seems to be a series that is destined for a sweep.
And without a Kawhi Leonard, too.
Yeah.
Without Kawhi Leonard,
Well,
their
I mean,
MVP.
the Nets don't have I think they're down their top 4 stars or something like that. They're not going to last very long. Huh?
The who?
Brooklyn Nets.
Oh.
So
I'm showing a little Knicks bias right now. Forgive me. Nah, not really. Don't Thom Brennan me now.
hey, Brooklyn Nets are our local team. So in the Boston Celtics are the number 3 seed, and they're playing the Philadelphia 76ers as the 6th seed, and Boston is up 2-0 in that series. I would think that one will probably be like a 6-7 game one, depending on how that goes.
If the 76ers could just turn it around, then everything will probably go good for them.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then the Miami Heat are up 2-0 as the number 5 seed, playing the number 4 seed Indiana Pacers.
Wow.
So tonight is the NBA lottery draft. The NBA draft lottery. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the eventual NBA draft happening on October 16th. So in the structure of the lottery draft has been different. They're taking the same idea that they had last year, where the first 3 teams, the worst three teams in the league,
Had like the higher chance or something?
they all have a plateaued number of a chance to win the number 1 pick. They all have a 14% chance of winning. Usually, like the very worst team has the highest lottery percentage of.
I guess they
chance of
changed
winning.
it up because they were, as a sports as of late, they've changed their lottery chances up because they want to prevent the idea of tanking.
Yeah, that's been the number 1 goal of having the lottery in the first place, is to make sure that it stays competitive to the end and teams don't tank or purposely try to lose. So in this situation, the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Minnesota Timberwolves all have a 14% chance of scoring the first round.
How? Golden State Warriors?
Golden State Warriors.
How?
Golden State Warriors had the worst record in the league. Stephon Curry was hurt for a lot of the year, and they had a ton of injuries. So remember a couple years back where the Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, it looked like they were going to go, like 5 to 7 years,
Destroying everybody in the league, and now they're like the bottom of the bunch.
Yeah, and now they're fighting for the number 1 pick in the draft.
I hope neither of them gets it.
Well, speaking of locals, the New York Knicks have the 6th best odds of winning the first round pick at 9%.
Now, let me ask you a question. If one of the 2 top teams that has the higher percentage, which is the Warriors and the Cavaliers,
Right.
you said the other one is Minnesota, right?
Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'm not even going to say Minnesota.
All right.
But what do you think is going to be the reaction if the Warriors or the Cavaliers get that number 1 ping pong ball?
I think for the Warriors it might be a bigger deal just because they're set up with success, but at the same time they're not going to be able to keep all their talent eventually, because all of them, eventually somebody's going to price themselves out.
Yeah, but
big three.
I'm talking about like fan reaction.
They had a horrible year. So there was the situation when the San Antonio Spurs were awarded Tim Duncan when they got the number 1 pick, and that happened because David Robinson was out for the entire year, and they had like an awful record and ended up getting the number 1 pick in the lottery. So, and then the next year David Robinson was healthy, Tim Duncan came on, and that led to the Spurs dynasty that they saw for whatever it was, 15 years. It's just the luck of the draw. So it wasn't like the Warriors intentionally try to tank the season.
I'll be looking forward to fan reaction, and we'll probably talk about that next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Cavaliers were just predicated on LeBron James. Like, they were good when LeBron James was there, and when LeBron James wasn't there, they weren't good. I mean, that's just, it's as simple as that. Like, they're totally. If you look at the history, there's no other way to really put it. And then they lost Kyrie Irving at the same time, so like the Cavaliers definitely would be serviced well from having a number one pick. Aside, like, not the same kind of controversy that would come if the Warriors get it, but so back to the Knicks. They have a 28% chance of winning a pick in the top 3. So
Okay.
what? So that's 72% chance of it not happening at all in the top 3, which is probably what a lot of Knicks fans are used to, but
We're probably used to this disappointment.
we'll stay positive. The New York Rangers ended up getting the number 1 pick, so imagine if this would be the time for the New York Knicks to get
That would
their one as
definitely
well.
be a double, like, super whammy over there.
Be 1994 all over again.
I was still a sperm in 1994.
All right, so just check it out tonight at 8:30 p.m. Where 14 teams will be vying for the number 1 pick in the draft.
And what channel would that be on?
ESPN.
Oh, ESPN.
So we'll move on to baseball now. And isn't it lovely that we went through 2 sports and really didn't? I mean, we mentioned COVID-19 once. And that was it. Like,
Yeah, like,
isn't it amazing that
you don't hear
going on and everything?
you don't hear about the COVID-19 stuff anymore. I mean, now the Cardinals are going back to playing, right?
Yeah.
And so are, the Marlins are playing too.
Everybody's playing right now, thankfully.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into that in a second on how screwed they are actually. But so we're gonna talk about baseball. We're gonna go division by division. In the AL East, the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays are the 2 front runners in that division.
Although right now the Yankees are having a thorn in their behind because the Rays have been beating them all season this year.
They beat them 10-5 before this show started, and the Rays seem to be the kryptonite for the New York Yankees. That is the one team that can consistently beat them.
Then again, I mean, the Yankees lost some key players too. So there's that.
Well,
I mean, you can kind of see it in their play right now. You got no DJ LeMahieu, but you got Luke Voit batting, but he's just slugging it out.
well, the Rays
No
are
Aaron Judge.
the Rays are built on pitching, and good pitching beats good hitting. And the Yankees are a strikeout or a homer or a strikeout kind of team. They're not really a situational hitting team. So
Well, when you got LeMahieu in the lineup, they are, a situational team.
a little bit. I mean, it's basically when you build a team, the first teams that you want to beat are the teams in your division. So
Oh yeah.
there's no surprise that a team in the division is giving the Yankees fits, which on paper they look absolutely unstoppable, but at the end of the day, it's turning out to be quite a matchup, and it's going to be great seeing how everything else goes for the rest of the season. Right now, all the teams that are playing at full schedules are about 25 games in, so we're almost at the halfway point of the 60-game season.
All right. Well, right now it's definitely a sprint and no longer a marathon.
Yeah.
Since this season is really cut in more than half, so you got a 60-game season. You really have to sprint for your life. You just can't mess up any divisional matchups right now.
Well, you see all over baseball, there's a lot of situations where the starting pitcher's getting yanked in the 3rd inning, only giving up 3 runs. This is
Yeah.
not something that you would see over the course of a 162-game season, but
What
right now
about,
it's just playoff baseball.
What about Garrett Cole's fiery performance last night?
Yeah,
He did not want to get off that mound.
Why don't you break it down for the crowd at home?
So, to start the game, Garrett Cole gave up 2 homers, but not back-to-back, but 2 different innings. And then after that, he just shut it down. Like, he just shut it down. And then once 109 pitches came in, Aaron Boone took him off at the 7th inning, which in the stat log it said he pitched 6.2 innings. And Garrett Cole was fired out his behind. He was pissed.
Yeah, he got pretty upset.
I mean, pissed with a capital P.
Well, I think though some of that might have stemmed from the start before, where he couldn't pitch, where he wasn't allowed to pitch the full 5 innings
but
because his pitch count got up.
he had like 11 strikeouts yesterday.
Right. That was the same situation as the previous start, where he wasn't able to get the win. Aaron Boone did what he felt like he had to do. 109 pitches 100 pitches seems to be the barometer for, the pitcher's not going to last long if he even does.
Oh, come on. He could have won one more inning.
It's possible.
And we probably could have won the game.
It's possible. But it's baseball, and that's why they make the decisions. In the AL Central, there's a 3-team race between the Minnesota Twins, the Cleveland Indians, and Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
Chicago White Sox are, they're playing 500 baseball, but
they got a pretty good team, and all led with Tim Anderson, their star hitter.
Yeah.
Like, honestly speaking, I enjoy watching Tim Anderson. He is a beast at third, and you gotta love his bat flips.
Yep. And this is part of what we talked about on previous shows, where some younger teams are going to have the advantage of a shorter season because they're just going to come out and they're going to just come out firing.
They're just going to come out slugging.
Yeah. And that's right now in the early goings of this almost half season of baseball. The Chicago White Sox are one of those teams that are taking advantage of the situation.
And then in the AL West, we're having the A's, the Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics are coming out of nowhere for that AL West top seed. Like, they're just slugging it out. I mean, Matt Chapman, Kenya, Marcus Semien, you name it, they got it. They're pretty impressive.
This rivalry with Boston Red Sox not being the strong Boston Red Sox that we've come across the past couple of years, the Oakland A's and the Houston Astros, that is the top rivalry in the AL right now.
Oh, yeah, because of the incident that happened about like a week or two ago.
Yeah, well, and all the different layers that happened before
and
that.
then everybody hates the Astros as well. So
yep, and
they're the most hated team in the MLB.
And I think the Oakland A's have a lot more fans than they did before. That's for sure. I'm definitely a fan of them.
I ain't gonna be a fan of them. I mean, I'll just tip my cap to good baseball playing. I mean, what else can you do?
Well, I mean, if you have to root for who's gonna win between the A's and the Astros, who are you going for?
Well, definitely not the Astros.
Exactly. And we'll move on to the NL East, where the Braves are running away, but this is where the COVID-19 impact is starting to mess up. Gets a little wacky at this point. The Braves have 25 games played right now. The Miami Marlins are only at 18 games, and the Philadelphia Phillies are only at 19 games. So they have a lot of catching up to do, and we really don't know what this division is yet.
Well, they got games being basically back played, so we'll know how all this stuff goes.
There's going to be a lot of doubleheaders, a lot of 7-inning games.
Yeah, we haven't seen doubleheaders in God know how long.
This is where the impact is going to come from, because they're basically in these doubleheaders, they're losing a half of a game total by losing 4 innings of the 18 in a normal doubleheader, and that's going to impact the race, because if you're down 3-2 and then the game ends at 7 innings, you could have come back in those last 2 innings.
Oh yeah.
Not being played, or you could be up 6-2 and then it takes away the 4-run 8th innings, which would be very exciting.
I'm surprised they haven't applied a mercy rules to this COVID-19 stuff.
They've talked about it in the future of baseball. They come out with these wacky rules like the extra runner on second base.
Yeah, I think that's total BS.
Yeah, so talking about it, but then again, where do you cut off the number? Do you cut the number off at 10? Do you cut the number off at 12?
I don't know.
Yeah, and then who do you have to apologize for scoring?
Yeah, so this incident that has happened was with the Texas Rangers and the San Diego Padres. Fernando Tatis Jr., let me say, because his father is a retired baseball player. Well, one of the best that ever played, to be honest. And holy crap, did he launch a bomb with a 3-0 count? And the score was what, 10-3 at the time?
10-3, yep.
10-3, and he launched a grand slam.
On a 3-0 count.
On a 3-0 count. That's a green light to swing.
Yeah.
This season is a sprint right now. You can't keep your foot off the goddamn gas. If I'm on a 3-0 count and I'm going to make my team win and I'm up on a 3-0 count, I'm not taking that walk. I have the green light ready to swing. And when I swing and I launch that bomb right outside of that damn park, I'm flipping that baseball bat like if it was a Burger King Whopper.
Well, it did cause Fernando Tatis to have to apologize for
He
whatever
was
reason,
forced to
which was
apologize.
ridiculous.
And you know what's going to happen? He's going to end up leaving that team in the future.
Yeah, well, there were a lot of baseball players that came out on Twitter, and they supported Tatis, saying that, basically, what are you apologizing for? Keep doing what you're doing. Now, baseball is a rhythm game, so, there's really nobody who throws away at bats, and if you throw away an at bat, that could lead to like 0 for 12, 0 for 16, 2 for 20, like these kind of things.
Benching.
Yeah, you play to win the game, and you play hard, and it's all about rhythm. Like the momentum that you take into the next at bat, to the next game, those are all important. Like, why this is even an issue or something to even talk about is absolutely ridiculous.
Come on, man. Anybody that supports the pitcher and then the whole team getting mad about it, you know what I gotta tell you? Shut up, Boomer. Shut up.
It's the pussification of 2020 at this point.
Oh my God, that is very 2020. Let me apologize for being very good at my damn job.
Yeah, it's just come on, it's baseball.
Yo, you get a grand slam, you put your team up on a 3-0 count, and you're ahead of a count. Guess what? It's the pitcher's fault that he's behind the count. And if you launch a bomb, this is why the game of baseball doesn't grow, because you don't let the goddamn kids play. Pimp that shit.
Yeah, and then
pimp that bat flip. Pimp, show some emotion.
Yeah,
that's
a part of what they took out of the NFL with not having big celebrations.
If you go to
people are having fun.
If you go to the Caribbean and all these Latin American countries and you watch them play baseball, they show emotion. You know what kills me most? A lot of people like hockey. They love the celebrations. They love the Archers and the Theo Fleury celebrations. But when it comes to baseball, you should act like you hit a home run already. Shut up. You sound like a hypocrite. Let these guys show emotion. Seriously.
It's all an emotional game.
It's a kid's game. Show the goddamn emotion.
Yeah, agreed 100%. So we'll go back to the standings, the NL East. So we have those three teams are working out their weird quirks, and then the Mets are only 2.5 games back of Atlanta for the number one, for first in the division. So keep an eye on that. 2 games behind, 2 games under 500. They've won 3 in a row. Looks like they're getting back in the New York groove.
I guess so. Good for some Met fans.
Yeah, it's local, so we talk about it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying good for some of them. At least they'll have something to watch.
Especially Pin Man and Cowbell Man. Who,
shout outs to those guys. They're great people.
We always love them. In the NL Central, the Chicago Cubs are running away with their division.
No surprise there.
Now, in the quirkiness of COVID weirdness, they've played 24 games. Milwaukee is number 2 in the division. They've played 22 games, which is all fair. But then the St. Louis Cardinals have only played 13 games while everybody else has played like 25. Like they have a lot of
because their own stupidity.
Yeah, they have a lot of catching up to do. A lot of doubleheaders coming up on their way.
Yeah, I mean, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
And then we have in the NL West, the LA Dodgers are the best team in baseball, and they are running away with their division.
No surprise there.
Yep. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are 4-16 right now.
Wow, I thought you was going to tell me they were like 16-4.
And 16.
Yikes.
Maybe they could have used Toronto going up over there and winning some ball games in that stadium. Jeez.
Seriously.
So we'll go on to NFL news. Looks like we're good to go here. Looks like they're gonna go with the season. The training camps are starting. Everybody's practicing. There's stories coming left and right about like how teams are preparing.
There's no Hard Knocks this season?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh man, every year for the NFL, I always look for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, there's a quality program.
Oh yeah.
So 3 weeks from today, there'll be the rematch of the AFC title game with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans in Kansas City.
There is no preseason.
No.
Straight to the regular season.
Yep. And so the pros and cons of the season starting. What are your views on football?
You're throwing them into the wolves right away.
Yep.
There's really going to be no rhythm into the games. Obviously, there's not going to be any fans.
Yep.
And you really have one shot. If you're a new guy coming in, you only have one shot to make the team. Other than that, you're going to be sitting home because there is no minor league development program in the NFL.
Nope. And one thing I think is, if there is a COVID outbreak with a certain team and they have to shut it down the way baseball did, I think with the way the football is structured with having weeks to week, and there is a little bit of flexibility where you can squeak in a matchup midweek. I think that's an option that they'd be able to explore. And also, the Super Bowl is usually like the first week of February, so if you think about it, there is a chance to extend the season, go into like mid-February or the end of February or even like the beginning of March, because the weather's still going to be cold enough.
Oh yeah,
so,
I mean it's like 16 games.
Yeah, so and then usually in the playoffs, and then usually ends the season ends the first week of February. But now, there's a situation where there is some flexibility just in case they have to push back maybe a week or so. Like, but if there's obviously if there's like 4, 5, 6 teams that have to go through this, then it'll become a stickier situation. But I do see the sense of trying to make this happen, where it won't jam them up like baseball, where they have to play where the Cardinals would have to play like 7 double headers in like 2-3 weeks. Or something like that,
NFL has that advantage right now.
Yeah. So then with the opportunities being created with some of the players not opting out because of the COVID-19 situation, there's going to be opportunities for other players to step in and make a name for themselves. Like who is actually going to be, we don't know because we don't see these practices. We don't really know.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how this football season goes. If there is one title though that might be a little tainted, I'd say maybe it's football. Just from the situation. Just from the situation where you have a lot of I mean, there was like 6 players from the Patriots and a lot of prominent names that have opted out already. I think this is the sport where a lot of the there's a lot of top end depth being taken away, which it compromises the competitiveness of the whole field.
I get you. And speaking of the New England Patriots, there has been a report going on ESPN, and I saw this last night, that Bill Belichick might consider a quarterback platoon.
It's possible.
What? Since Tom Brady is now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're with Cam Newton, and I forgot who the other dude is.
Yeah. Sounds
So-
like Jason Stretman, but I don't know.
Yeah, Jason
Something like that.
Stretman.
Yeah.
Stretman, strep throat, whatever his name is.
Well, there's a lot of ramblings that the Patriots are actually trying to tank this season so they can get the number 1 pick next year and get the top quarterback coming out of college. So speaking of college, we have, as we spoke about last week, the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are out, and the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC are all in. Looks like they're gonna continue on with their seasons. Now there's an absolute scramble as far as scheduling and things like that. There's a lot of unsettled things. 2 weeks from today is when the first games happen on Thursday, with South Alabama versus Southern Miss and Central Arkansas versus UAB.
Wow.
In week 1, there are 30 college football games that are either canceled or postponed. It's going to be a wild one to see how that all shakes
because
out.
there has been like a lot of controversy going on with the NCAA. So there's that.
All right. So yesterday we had a situation where the Cincinnati Reds announcer Tom Brenneman has now been suspended for using an anti-gay slur on air.
Which he used the F word, which the double meaning of that is a bundle of sticks, but is a derogatory term to the gay community.
Yep.
So this is what happened. I assume he was calling from his house, or he was calling in their booth.
The situation was they came back on air in the
Yeah,
7th
commercial
inning.
break. Yeah.
He didn't know he was on. He said it, and it was the first game of the doubleheader. And in the second game, he was replaced in the middle of the game.
Yeah, he had to give one of those "I'm sorry" type of speeches, but it's more of those "I'm sorry I got caught."
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, my thing with that is that you're doing a job right now, whether you're doing it at home or you're doing it alone, you always have to assume that there is a hot mic. Now, I'm not saying that I support what he said, but if you're going to talk like that, do it at your own time and always assume that someone is listening. So basically, think twice before you say something that you're going to regret.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this day and age, there's absolutely zero tolerance for these kind of things. It's one of those situations, where it's funny if you know everybody and everybody's on the same page, but if you're speaking to a national audience, there's absolutely no possible way that it should even have a chance of happening.
It's scary how Dave Chappelle's Netflix special is getting truer and truer every day. Now, I am not going to get into the specifics of that, but I will say, if you have Netflix, go and watch it.
All right, I would definitely do that because I love Dave Chappelle and I have not seen it, so I definitely want to check that out.
I believe it's the one from 2017.
So, there actually is one thing that I tried last week, which was one of your mock Popeyes chicken sandwiches. That was pretty good. I know I mentioned it on the show earlier. There definitely has to be a cooking show on that sandwich because it was like, the appearance of it was pretty good and it tasted great. And we had it on a hockey outing last week in Albany, so that's why it's okay to talk about in this show.
I actually made that today, but I put it inside my baked mac and cheese. So after this show is over, I'm running home and eating that.
There might be a LDM cooking show in your future, possibly.
Maybe. I'm a little secretive.
All right. So, we're going to get into a fun topic to close out the show. If you attend a sporting event where one of the teams playing is not your favorite team, what do you wear? Right now, we have option A where you wear your favorite team anyway, and you don't care what anybody thinks in the arena. B, one of your teams, you wear one of the teams that are actually playing for fun, whether it be the home team or the road team. You see one of your favorite, you wear one of your favorite teams of a different sport. Or D, do you wear something that's not a sport, anything, and it's generic clothing?
Well, I've gone to a game like that once where, well, I have plenty of times, but like the most recent one that I've went to was the Bruins and the Predators game in TD Garden 2 years ago. I actually had a blast. So I wore the Bruins Winter Classic jersey because I am a very avid jersey collector.
Right.
So I wore it and, good fun, and it's nothing bad. But if it's like two of my rivals playing each other and I'm at the game, you best believe I'm going to wear my favorite team's stuff.
Yeah. So I've probably done all of these except for not generic sports clothing, because I don't really have that much generic sports clothing, but or any clothing that's not sports related. But I've done. I went to a what was it? It was the New York Islanders versus the Florida Panthers, and it was in Barclays Center, and I wore a Rangers jersey, and I didn't like the attention I got. It wasn't as fun. I think it was something that I did it just to do it, but it was just I feel like it was unnecessary attention drawn to me. It was just like
What, you had people curse you or something?
Yeah, the typical things like, oh, Ranger fan here. What's a Ranger fan doing here? Well, obviously, like, it's New York, so I mean, the chances there's multiple Rangers jerseys in
well, this was in the
games
Barclays Center.
Yeah, so
They should be happy that they have like some type of fan inside that building.
yeah, I'd say just the main point. It wasn't as fun. Like you
I'm
go to
just
sporting
talking
events to
smack
have
right
fun.
now.
Not exactly the most fun. Then I've done the wearing sports for wearing favorite team, different sports. I went to a different Islanders game. I forget who the opponent was, and I wore Yankees stuff. It was a little more fun. It's kind of like generic. And then the most fun I think is just wearing a jersey or gear from one of the teams playing.
Like that one douche that comes to every Yankees home game in a John Tavares jersey.
Yeah. So that's what he does. Even though word has it he's a Yankee fan, he just likes to there's one of those situations where you like the attention. But for me, I think sports is supposed to be fun at the end of the day, and I think the most fun is just to go in and like even if your favorite team's not playing, you just lose yourself in the atmosphere or whoever you're with and things like that. And it's just more fun to just, pick a side, have some fun. Don't really get too crazy like, oh, how could you wear that, blah, blah, blah. It's all about fun at the end of the day. So
Yeah, it is. I mean, as long as you're not, hurting anybody or killing anybody or like spilling beer on somebody on purpose.
yeah,
What should it matter?
sports is supposed to be fun, and it doesn't have to be any distractions or anything. It's just you go out there, you have a good time, and that's it.
And you buy my chicken sandwiches for $3.
$3, that's a deal. I'll take 2. All right, so that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, my name is Alfonso Caldero, and
Wesley Segundo, a.k.a. Wepa Man.
we'll see you next week. LDM Radio Sports Talk. Thank you so much.
We're out.